First responders have united to propose a separate state retirement tier only for first responders.
That, of course, after the state legislature passed making the state retirement age at 35 years of service.
First responders say 35 years is too long for physical jobs like police and fire. Joining us to talk about this, Long Beach Police Chief and Mississippi Police Chiefs Association President Billy Seal and Gulfport Police Chief and board member for the Police Chiefs Association, Adam Cooper. Thank you so much for joining us here. And so there were changes in the last legislative session to how the PERS system, state retirement, is done. And your main concern is backing that years of service from 30 to 35 years. Why is that a concern when it comes to first responders?
Well, first responders, again, thank you for having us on the show. First responders, it's a different job. It's not any better than anybody else's job, but on average, as a law enforcement officer, you'll respond to 400 to 600 critical incidents a year in your lifetime. That is, the normal person only sees 4 to 5 of those in their entire lifetime, but we're seeing that a month. So it takes a toll on a person, not only in police officers and firefighters. You have a higher risk of cardiovascular disease. You have a higher risk of cancer if you're a firefighter. So there's a larger chance or larger threat to your overall health in law enforcement. And putting it to 35 years, you may never see your retirement at that kind of length.
With something like that, like you said, the rate of attrition much different from someone maybe with an office job or something otherwise. But the fact remains that with that attrition, that drifts into job retention because law enforcement has been going through so many steps, Chief, to try and bring in and attract more officers. A different setup would make it more attractive as far as retirement goes. Is that kind of what we're on the line here for?
Correct. There's no secret that retention and recruitment has been tough in the last few years. And the change to the retirement systems can make retention near impossible. We're already seeing people, once it changed, I think in 2011 to 30 years, I know especially in the fire service, are leaving, going to neighboring states, who's back to 25 and some are even 20.
And the system has also changed for new people coming into the system. They're splitting, it's not the entire benefit, part of the benefits going into 401k, and that's to make the PERS system solvent for much longer. Are you hearing anything about that, or do you have any interest in changing that part of it?
Yes, we want to go back for the first responders to the 2% instead of the 1% that we're under, and the Tier 5 has no guaranteed COLA, cost of living.
Okay.
And our proposal has to follow like Social Security, the index and for inflation and the cost of living with that.
And something you brought up before we did this interview, you look at the stories out there and they talk about PERS being $26 million in debt, but that would only be in a worst case scenario if everyone in the system decided to retire at once, which probably isn't going to happen. But at the same time, getting that funded is huge. And when you throw in the segment with first responders and law enforcement, that's a major part of that, because you guys are out in the public so much, and just the things you talked about. It's almost like a professional athlete, if you will, who only has 5 or 6 good years and then the injuries take the tolls. It's kind of the similar feel, I guess, right, Chief?
It is. It's much more similar to that, or military.
Right.
Same thing, yeah. We used to hire a lot of military members after their retirement because they would only have to do 20 additional years after the 20-year retirement in the military. We're not seeing those anymore. We will not be picking them up at 35 years as well. So yes, it's a much different job. Everybody wants me to have that officer that's got 10 years of work under his belt already. Of course, there's no 21-year-old that comes to work with all that under his belt. Well, you get to 31 years old and you're looking around going, hey, I got a family, I got to feed this family, I got to figure out what I'm doing for my future. They will look to Louisiana, they'll look to Tennessee, they'll look to Arkansas and Alabama and Florida, and they will leave because they can take that time with them and then finish out an additional 15 years and be done.
And part of the perception of why you would want a government job or work in police is to have added benefits as compared to the private sector, and this is peeling back one of those benefits.
Absolutely. It's no secret the wages are lower in our sector, and the benefit was the retirement, and now you're losing that benefit.
5 years of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's hard for that attraction to get people in. So coming up during the next legislative session, what's if you could put them into bullet points, I guess, what would be the main things you want to see happen that would help as far as law enforcement and first responders?
I would want to see at least go back to 25 years. That is the system I'm under. It's kept me here. Some might not agree with that, but I am here for 25 years at least, and I have enjoyed my career. I again didn't do it for the money. I did it for this community, and that's why I'm still here.
And it got bumped up to 30 years about 15 years ago, and now bumped up once again. So you're hoping that it goes all the way back to 25 years at this point. So what's the response been from members of the legislature that you've talked to?
We've talked to a few legislators that are in support of it. We have a couple that's going to sponsor it, local legislators. So we're hopeful.
Yeah, and that's really all. You're not sure until you actually get up there and the votes start happening. But with the fact that you're trying to bring in more experienced policemen in law enforcement and sheriffs and also firemen, with that, you feel like that could be the tipping point when it comes up to a vote down the road? Still looking down the road, but you kind of try to read the tea leaves on that, I guess, right?
I would like to think that it would pass, but I mean, I've talked to legislators and they have other people to answer to other than us, so I think the proof is in the pudding. We'll see where the votes land.
Yeah, have you gotten any indication from the leadership in either the House or the Senate as far as how they would support it or not support it?
The talks we've had, they're willing to look at it
Yeah.
and do something. I mean, it's no secret. There has to be changes made to the current system, and we understand that. But the first responders are different. We're not better than the other people in the system. Our job is just different.
Very different, and the hazards are certainly there on display. So we'll watch this issue as it moves through the state legislature. And just one last question real quick. We talked about recruiting and retention. Quickly, for each of you, how is that going for your departments?
Our recruiting and retention are suffering. We're one of the lowest paid on the coast, so that also hurts us. But you know, Long Beach is a great town to work in, and we have great community support. And being a smaller agency, it's a little easier to work together and give other little benefits and things.
Yeah, and Chief Cooper?
I've got great support still from my city council as well as my mayor. We are actually increasing our numbers. We're doing a lot better than we have in the past years. But we're bringing them in, but we're also losing them again. Like I said, they look around. I lost one recently that was going to come in as an officer, and he went to St. Tammany Parish.
Yes,
so
competition is always
it
there.
is.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Chiefs, both of you, thanks for coming in, and we thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
And we'll follow this as it moves on with the state legislature. And that's going to do it for us on WLOX News this week. Hope you have a wonderful day and a terrific week coming up.
Thanks for joining.